Immortality Season 5 Episode 26. What would be the outcome if Fang Han, at the Divine Ability 5th layer, Heaven Human Realm, faced the Ghost Emperor, who is at the Divine Ability 10th layer, Heaven Defying Fate-Changing Realm? Although one might guess that the protagonist Fang Han would surely win, how could the dignified Ghost Emperor fall into the hands of a mere Fang Han? To capsize in a ditch despite being 5 entire realms higher, the Ghost Emperor is truly quite the character. Interpreting classic original works and savoring the fate of humanity. Hello everyone, I'm Oppo Feitian Xin Hong from the Guiman, Chinese animation section. Welcome back to the Eternal Life original analysis video. Picking up from last time, the Ghost Emperor used his black and slaughtering great law to force Fang Han's would escape art to reveal his true form. At this moment, Fang Han was locked down with no chance of escape. Fang Han now had two choices: either fight to the death without a word, or outwit his opponent. Outwitting meant first chatting with the villain, then adapting to the situation. After all, villains always die from talking too much. The Ghost Emperor's first words were, "This time, let's see where you'll run." Fang Han looked at the sky-covering demonic hand with its 9 fingers, knowing that if he made even a slight move, this massive demonic hand would surely block him. At that point, a life-and-death struggle would be unavoidable. So, he remained still, waiting for the best opportunity. Fang Han then said, "I'm not running anywhere." "Ghost Emperor, you're chasing me like this. Aren't you afraid the Yuhua sect will tear you to shreds?" His meaning was, I have powerful backing, so don't act recklessly, otherwise, you'll suffer the consequences. Facing Fang Han's attempt to borrow power, the Ghost Emperor sneered, "Humph. Once I obtain the Yellow Springs Earth, I'll be able to step into the Longevity Reversal Realm and become a peerless ancient giant. I won't fear the Yuhua sect's pursuit then. Obediently hand over the Yellow Springs Earth, and I can spare your life. Otherwise, this day next year will be your death anniversary." The Ghost Emperor's pair of pale, ghost fire flickering eyes darted around, as if contemplating something. He seemed to be calculating the best method to then strike with a thunderous blow. This is a classic example of not fighting directly, but rather giving the opponent time to stall. Fang Han sneered, "Is that so? You think you can kill me? Even if your demonic cultivation is world-shaking, I can still resist you for a while. Don't forget, the Gate of Abi specifically counters your divine abilities. If it were a divine ability 10th layer, heaven-defying fate-changing expert from another sect, I naturally wouldn't be able to escape. But against you, I can still put up a fight. Furthermore, you probably know how much the Yuhua sect values me. When I was trapped in the Taiyuan Immortal Mansion, the Supreme Sect Master personally went to rescue me. Right now, I have a communication talisman. With a single thought, the Yuhua sect will know, and the Sect Master will arrive instantly. Can you escape his grasp then?" "What?" The Ghost Emperor's mind immediately wavered upon hearing this. What he didn't know was that Fang Han was spouting utter nonsense. There was no such talisman that could summon Sect Master Feng Baiyu to his aid. Currently, Feng Baiyu and a group of Grand Elders were diligently cultivating the Heavenly Emperor realm, strengthening their power and awaiting the invasion of the God race. Even if Feng Baiyu were idle, he wouldn't create a communication talisman for such a rescue. True disciples were meant to be tempered to eventually take over the position of Sect Master, not to be babied and protected. However, the Ghost Emperor also knew that when Fang Han was trapped in the Taiyuan Immortal Mansion, 4 longevity secret realm giants had besieged Feng Baiyu, only to be repelled by Feng Baiyu using the Heavenly Yellow Mirror. This incident had already spread throughout both the immortal and demonic paths. Now, many experts had re-evaluated the Yuhua sect master's strength. Vaguely, the Yuhua sect had already become the second most powerful sect in the immortal path. Therefore, hearing these words, the Ghost Emperor dared not act rashly. What if Fang Han really sent out a talisman, and Feng Baiyu, sensing it telepathically, tore through space and rushed over? He feared he would truly be annihilated. The crucial point was that he genuinely couldn't kill Fang Han instantly. He would need to use his divine abilities to trap him, then bring him back to his lair, and leverage the geographical advantage, using the grand formation of his cave dwelling to fiercely refine and suppress him for many days. Only then could Fang Han's magic power be completely exhausted, and the defenses of the Three Arrows Bandit flag be broken. Currently, Fang Han possessed Three Arrows Bandit flags, which were no small matter. He was even richer in treasures than longevity reversal realm experts. To destroy them instantly was simply impossible. Even if his realm was 5 entire levels higher than Fang Han's, it still wouldn't work. All this explanation boils down to one sentence. The Ghost Emperor was bluffed by Fang Han. He wanted to kill Fang Han and seize his treasures, but he was afraid of being pursued by the Yuhua sect master. Thus, he was immediately caught in a dilemma. The mouthful of 60 years of life essence blood he had just spat out seemed about to go to waste. The Ghost Emperor cursed inwardly, damn it. If this brat didn't have the Gate of Abi, I could capture him with a flick of my hand. There's a difference of 5 entire realms. Even with the Dao artifact, it's useless. However, if force wouldn't work, then he would try persuasion. The Ghost Emperor tried to coax Fang Han. Fang Han, how about we discuss something? You give me some water of oblivion, and then we'll join forces to use the Yellow Springs diagram to open the treasure vault within the Yellow Springs and obtain the treasures inside. How about we split them equally? I heard you have a deep-seated grudge against Hua Tiandu. If you can obtain a large amount of treasures from the Yellow Springs treasure vault, your magic power will instantly surge, and you'll become a giant. You must know, Hua Tiandu's magic power is several times greater than mine, and he also possesses a Dao artifact. What's more, he isn't afraid of the Yellow Springs Earth at all. If you don't obtain a heaven-shaking fortuitous encounter, you won't be able to deal with him. Fang Han replied, is that so? Ghost Emperor, how much water of oblivion do you want then? Upon hearing this, the Ghost Emperor's body trembled slightly. What? You're willing to give me water of oblivion? Just fill the space within this void crystal stone with water of oblivion, and that will be enough. This amount of water of oblivion will be enough for me to purify and refine all my magic power. With a wave of his hand, he produced a fist-sized crystal. The crystal was hollow in the middle, appearing to be a small spatial pocket. Fang Han looked at the space within this void crystal stone and said, this can hold an entire pond's worth of water of oblivion. However, within the Yellow Springs diagram, the water of oblivion flows as a mighty river, no less grand than the Dragon Abyss River. A pond's worth of water is nothing to me. But if I give this Ghost Emperor the water of oblivion, he will likely refine it in the blink of an eye, cleanse all the vengeful spirits in his body, and transform them into pure magic power. His magic power would instantly surge, and the Gate of Abi from the Yellow Springs diagram would have its restraining power greatly diminished against him. Naturally, Fang Han could not do such a thing. However, at this moment, he also needed to stall for time to find a foolproof plan. So, Fang Han casually replied, of course I'm willing. I came to the Barbarian God Temple to search for 5 element spirit roots and to cultivate the Martial Emperor Grand Demonic Divine Ability, entering the Divine Ability 6th layer, Unity Realm. As the saying goes, it's better to resolve enmity than to prolong it. Since we can sit down and talk, why must we fight to the death? For cultivators, life comes first. What use are countless treasures if one loses their life? However, Ghost Emperor, what you just said about opening the Yellow Springs treasure vault, I am indeed very interested in that. I know that the Yellow Springs diagram is the key to opening the treasure vault. Back when the Yellow Springs Great Emperor led the Yellow Springs Demon Sect, he scoured the heavens and earth to establish an extremely powerful treasure vault. That place is the Yellow Springs Demon Sect's main base, but now many elders are also entrenched there. You, Ghost Emperor, are not the strongest among them. What if other elders find out about our visit? What do we do then? The Ghost Emperor fell silent for a moment after hearing this, then said, this is easy. Currently, many elders are guarding the treasure vault, keeping each other in check. However, if we find an opportunity to suddenly use the Yellow Springs diagram to enter the treasure vault, we can control its grand restriction formation and make it serve us. At that time, even the experts of the Longevity Secret Realm will be powerless against us. Fang Han acknowledged, that is also a method. He then glanced around and continued, since that's the case, there's no need for us to meet Baluzhang. You should retract your heaven-shrouding demonic hand, and we can discuss this slowly. How about it? Ha ha ha. The Ghost Emperor burst into laughter. Retract my heaven-shrouding demonic hand? Do you take me, the Ghost Emperor, for a 13-year-old child, so you can make your getaway? To tell you the truth, today, you must first hand over the water of oblivion to me, and then we can discuss further details. If you continue to stall for time, I will risk going mad and the perils of this journey to kill you on the spot. Haha, you wouldn't go all out earlier, but now you want to. After I've stalled for so long, you still have to fight. This clearly showed the Ghost Emperor didn't dare, yet he was trying to scare Fang Han. Alright then, Fang Han sighed. I'll give you the water of oblivion and void crystals first. Take it. With a wave of his hand, a waterfall-like stream of yellow light surged towards the Ghost Emperor. What trick is this little thief playing? He definitely wouldn't honestly hand over the water of oblivion to me. As the water of oblivion flew towards him, a cold smile appeared on the Ghost Emperor's face. The heaven-shrouding demonic hand trembled slightly, and the dark clouds and black rain in the sky also began to disperse. Ghost Emperor, you are truly ruthless. You actually tried to ambush me. Fang Han suddenly shouted just as the Ghost Emperor was about to make his move. This startled the Ghost Emperor, who thought, I haven't even made my move yet. How did he know? Could it be precognition? Just then, Fang Han suddenly raised his hand, and a white light shot out, soaring through the air. He then shouted, Transmission Talisman. Sect Master, save me. Oh no, a transmission talisman from Huamen. Seeing the white light fly out, the Ghost Emperor was greatly alarmed. The heaven-shrouding demonic hand fiercely chased after it, and at a great distance, it seized the white light. However, just as his heaven-shrouding demonic hand went to seize the transmission talisman, the yellow spring's sacred water that Fang Han had sent flying towards him suddenly transformed into a flood dragon. It was Yan Yan's profound gate of Abi Hell, manifesting once more, carrying boundless demonic energy, and a claw struck towards the Ghost Emperor's body. I knew you would. Try to ambush me. The Ghost Emperor's body suddenly moved. The dark clouds in the sky instantly turned black again, and a torrential black rain poured down, instantly enveloping Yan Yan. Although the gate of Abi Hell fiercely devoured it, it couldn't, for a while, destroy this black rain, a divine ability of the immortal slaughtering grand technique. The Ghost Emperor had consumed 60 years of his lifespan to activate this black rain and the immortal slaughtering grand technique, precisely to resist the gate of Abi Hell. He had finally succeeded, proving himself truly an old fox. Just then, the King of Blood transformed into a blade light and slashed towards the Ghost Emperor. Petty tricks. The Ghost Emperor's body flickered, and the Ghost Snake sword flew out to intercept the King of Blood. At the same time, his body swayed, and countless streams of spiritual energy surged out from him, directly encircling Fang Han. With a wave of his hand, the heaven-shrouding demonic hand in the sky had already flown back, clutching a yellowish orb in its grasp. It seemed to have captured the transmission talisman. The heaven-shrouding demonic hand retracted instantly. The Ghost Emperor took the yellowish orb into his hand. Then, the heaven-shrouding demonic hand flew out again, grabbing towards Fang Han, who was trapped by this spiritual energy. Haha, your transmission talisman has been captured by me. Let's see what other tricks you have up your sleeve. Under the Ghost Emperor's heaven-shrouding demonic hand and demonic arts, do you think you can escape? Truly childish to the extreme. Such a sneak attack, and you call that a sneak attack? I've eaten more salt than you've eaten rice and crossed more bridges than you've walked roads. The Ghost Emperor instantly gained control of the situation and was immensely pleased with himself. He then looked at the yellowish orb in his hand, which he believed to be the transmission talisman, wanting to see what it truly was. At the same time, several more wisps of black chi surged out from his body, covering the sky and earth, forming a vast net. He intended to capture Fang Han, Yan Yan, and the King of Blood, envelop them, and transport them to his own immortal's cave. However, just as he was clutching this yellowish orb, he discovered something unusual. As he squeezed the orb, the yellowish primordial chi on it dissipated, revealing a resplendent golden pellet. There were also many cracks on its surface, as if it had been somewhat damaged. Within the cracks, a vast and terrifying aura was constantly wriggling, seemingly on the verge of erupting. It's the Grand Een Divine Ability, Precious Music Art. 7 Kill Sword Dao. Shadowless Sword Body. Aurora Flame Art, with Dragon Mirror. White Tiger's Struggle. A total of 20 divine abilities. This isn't a transmission talisman. It's a golden core containing 20 divine abilities of extremely pure quality and immensely powerful. Only then did the Ghost Emperor realize that what he held in his hand was the golden core Fang Han had obtained from Ciyue Dao. The Ghost Emperor was utterly bewildered by Fang Han's move, suddenly completely confused. He thought, this Fang Han, has his brain gone bad? Throwing a golden core out as a transmission talisman? That shouldn't be. Even a corner dog leaping over a wall wouldn't do this. What exactly does he mean? For a moment, the Ghost Emperor's mind was thrown into disarray by Fang Han, unable to process what was happening. Simply put, the Ghost Emperor wasn't very bright, yet he insisted on trying to rob others on the road. This was a task that required either ruthlessness or intelligence, and as a result, the Ghost Emperor met neither criterion. Just as he was still trying to figure out if Fang Han had gone mad, a voice from within the golden core transmitted Fang Han's words. The voice uttered a very simple word, explode. This word was like a death-urging talisman, jolting the Ghost Emperor awake. So this was a scheme, he exclaimed. He wants to detonate this golden core to blow me up. How vicious. How insidious. Even if the Imperial Sovereign Emperor had a mind as treacherous as mountains and rivers, and a heart as deep as a city's defenses, would he be this vicious? He's even more vicious than the Imperial Sovereign Emperor. This is bad. I can't let the golden core explode. I, the Ghost Emperor, actually fell for a trick. Author's commentary. I finally understand why the Ghost Emperor fell for it. He's both timid and verbose, and most importantly, his brain isn't very good. Old Demon Hong, when interpreting, often rambles on about a bunch of psychological analysis. That's to meet the requirements of secondary creation, where his lines must take up a certain proportion, so he deliberately pads the word count. Your tactics are quite something, though. Fights happen in the blink of an eye, yet you're still slowly thinking for ages. You're purely waiting for death. Only after old Demon Hong's analysis did I suddenly understand. If it weren't for this, Fang Han wouldn't be able to defeat an opponent at the 10th level of divine abilities. Fang Han simply couldn't defeat him. Therefore, the Ghost Emperor's various stats had to be lowered, because he was just a delivery boy. And the awkwardness continued. Just as the Ghost Emperor suddenly realized, strangely enough, in that instant, his mind actually recalled all his past memories. Only then did his body fiercely unleash demonic power to suppress this golden core. At the same time, his heaven and earth dharma idol, the drunken ghost primordial spirit, instantly emerged, rising from his head. But it's too late, haha. The red-brained demon knew you'd be late. The person is on the verge of death, yet you're still recalling all your past memories. Are you treating this like Yun Tianming's euthanasia process? The golden core was completely activated by a wisp of Fang Han's divine sense. In an instant, a peerlessly destructive power erupted in the Ghost Emperor's hands. Fang Han couldn't refine the golden core in such a rush, but he could still detonate it. Rumble. It was as if 1,000 volcanoes erupted simultaneously. The earth was annihilated, flames shot skyward. Vast heaven and earth yuan qi ran wild, and endless gales swept in all directions. A massive mushroom cloud slowly rose with the Ghost Emperor at its center. The soul throne beneath the Ghost Emperor was completely reduced to ashes. Even the ground beneath was blasted into a massive crater, transforming into a small lake. Did it succeed? Fang Han was just exerting all his divine power to activate the sky-shrouding demonic hand when he felt the peerless explosion. Immediately after, a voice cried out, "Fang Han, you little scoundrel. I will never rest until you are dead. You are the true demon." From within the massive mushroom cloud, a tattered, three-headed, six-armed drunken ghost primordial spirit burst forth, severely wounded, and fled outwards. He actually wasn't blasted to death. He must be captured. He absolutely cannot be allowed to escape. Fang Han's eyes widened, and he went all out. The golden core explosion had failed to completely kill the Ghost Emperor, which greatly exceeded Fang Han's expectations. The Ghost Emperor's life force and spiritual resilience were incredibly strong. The might of this drunken ghost primordial spirit, his heaven and earth dharma idol, made even Fang Han feel a chill in his heart. For a longevity secret realm expert, not being killed by a golden core explosion would be understandable. But for the Ghost Emperor to not be killed, it meant his demonic cultivation was monstrous and his power was formidable. What was even more astonishing was that the Ghost Emperor had detonated the golden core after taking it into his hands. He was at the very center of the explosion, not on its periphery, and he still didn't die. However, although the Ghost Emperor wasn't dead, it was clear he was severely wounded. Otherwise, with the Ghost Emperor's personality, he would definitely counterattack. The fact that he didn't dare to counterattack now, only caring about fleeing, showed that he was truly in a bad state. If not now, when would be the time to capture and kill the Ghost Emperor? Do you know why the Ghost Emperor couldn't be completely blasted to death? If he were truly blown to smithereens, how would Fang Han collect his spoils afterward? Just fighting isn't enough. Collecting the spoils and profiting from them afterward is the ultimate goal. What was most valuable on the Ghost Emperor? Naturally, it was the drunken ghost primordial spirit he had cultivated with his life's effort. The Gate of Avicii. Taking advantage of the Ghost Emperor's severe injuries, some of his magical treasures and divine abilities also began to weaken. The Gate of Avicii, originally wrapped within the Black Prison, now instantly unleashed its divine ability. It expanded, swallowing all the black jade, then fiercely pursued the drunken ghost primordial spirit. Meanwhile, Nebula Baby was also awakened by the explosion. Haha, Nebula Baby certainly had a long nap. The sun, moon, and 5 stars turbidity fully activated, controlling the sky-shrouding demonic hand artifact. At the same time, a starlight vortex flew out, sucking all the spiritual chess pieces flying in the air into it. The King of Blood also suppressed the ghost tongue. Fang Han immediately suppressed these 2 treasures, and with a whoosh, they also flew towards the drunken ghost primordial spirit. As long as he could capture this drunken ghost primordial spirit, the losses from the golden core explosion would be recovered, and he would even gain a great compensation. Now, the Ghost Emperor's physical body was completely destroyed, and all the magical treasures on him were shattered. Even Dao artifacts would be damaged by a golden core explosion, let alone ordinary magical treasures. The soul throne beneath the Ghost Emperor was also a treasure artifact, but now it was reduced to dust and ashes, turning into nothingness. At this moment, Yan couldn't help but praise Fang Han. You are truly too insidious to be able to employ such methods. Even heavenly demons aren't as cunning as you, human demons aren't as insidious, and earth demons aren't as vicious. You could truly be called the demon among demons. As he spoke, his speed increased once more, instantly closing the distance to the drunken ghost primordial spirit. Originally, the Ghost Emperor's heaven and earth dharma idol, the drunken ghost primordial spirit, could fly as fast as lightning. It could cover 1,000 li in an instant. But now, severely wounded, its life-bound spirit was blasted into a daze. It had to exert all its effort to prevent its yuan qi from dissipating, making it fly 10 times slower than usual. Fang Han said, "Humph. A true man is not petty. A man without ruthlessness is not a true hero. I sacrificed a golden core to blast him. It was incredibly difficult to succeed and fraught with extreme danger." As he spoke, he had already caught up to the drunken ghost primordial spirit, and the Gate of Avicii fiercely swallowed it. But just then, several chilling demonic lights suddenly flew through the air ahead, revealing their forms. They were several cultivators dressed in luxurious leather clothing and cloaks, with Zolon at the forefront. Seeing this, the Ghost Emperor's drunken ghost primordial spirit seemed to have found its savior. "Fellow Taoists, please help me. I am being pursued by a righteous path cultivator. You are from the savage demonic sect. Quickly, help me block him for a moment. You are Senior Ghost Emperor. To actually be injured to this extent." The cultivators in luxurious leather clothing were greatly astonished upon seeing this. Without hesitation, they shouted at Fang Han, "We are from the savage demonic sect. Righteous path cultivators, retreat at once. Otherwise, you will be killed without mercy." "This is already the territory of the savage demonic sect." Fang Han coldly replied, "Kill them all. Without mercy." The blade light of the King of Blood then swept out fiercely. A streak of bloody light tore through the air, cutting all these disciples into two halves. All their vital blood was absorbed by the blade itself. Then a wave of blood incinerated them all, even their magical treasures turning to ash. It didn't even bother with the spiritual chi on their bodies. Killing disciples right at the entrance of this savage demonic sect. This was a huge taboo. No demonic path expert would run into the Yuhua sect's mountains to kill people. It was the same principle. This scene stood in stark contrast to the Ghost Emperor's previous hesitation and apprehension. Before the Yuhua sect members even arrived, the Ghost Emperor would be scared by mere threats. Yet Fang Han directly killed people right at the entrance of the savage demonic sect, without the slightest hesitation. Because in Fang Han's view, any trace of hesitation would lead to a different outcome. This was true ruthlessness from Fang Han. Fang Han quickly sliced down the savage demonic sect disciples, blocking his path with a single strike. Yen once again activated the Yellow Springs diagram, directly enveloping the drunken ghost primordial spirit within it. Abyssal demonic chi coiled around it, instantly entering the drunken ghost primordial spirit's body. "Fang Han, I will never rest until you are dead. I hate this. To think I fell for your trick. My physical body destroyed, my heaven and earth dharma idol damaged. I, the mighty Ghost Emperor, having cultivated for 3,700 years, to actually fall into the hands of a mere brat like you. I hate this." The Ghost Emperor, now entangled by abyssal demonic chi, immediately felt boundless agony spread through his entire spirit. He couldn't concentrate his spirit, making even self-detonating his dharma idol impossible. Moreover, after self-detonating his heaven and earth dharma idol, he completely dissipated. He harbored no thoughts of self-sacrifice for others, merely roaring with all his might, "The victor is king, the loser is a bandit." This only drew a wave of familiar mockery from Fang Han, who retorted, "What's the damn use of shouting and yelling? You fell for my trap, holding your golden core in your hand. That was truly too foolish, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to harm you at all. Now, just accept your fate." With that, Fang Han fiercely swallowed, and his invincible great demonic divine ability surged into the Yellow Springs, lending its strength. This instantly caused the Gate of Abi to expand once more, swallowing the drunken ghost primordial spirit whole. Not a sound was heard from the Ghost Emperor. Yen remained silent for a moment, then suddenly exclaimed, "Fang Han, we actually killed a divine ability 10th layer expert, a peerless powerhouse who defied the heavens and changed fate. I still can't believe my eyes. We truly suppressed the Ghost Emperor. Our cultivation realms and the Ghost Emperors were too far apart. Logically, it should have been impossible to succeed. The former me could easily suppress him, but the current me cannot." Xingyun Baobao also sighed in admiration. Indeed, a divine ability 10th layer expert, a peerless master who defied the heavens and changed fate, was actually killed by us. Internally, Xingyun Baobao mused, "Although I was just here to buy soy sauce, tag along, I was a participant. Later, I can write on my resume, possessed experience in killing a divine ability 10th layer, heaven-defying fate-changing realm expert. That would surely intimidate so many AJs. My goodness, what a formidable person. May I ask what your expected salary is? For someone of your caliber, we only discuss annual salaries. So amazing, such wisdom. This is true wisdom." The artifact spirit, Qiling Xingchan of the sun, moon, 5 stars turbid, flew out, looking at Fang Han as if he were a monster. Although this artifact spirit was incredibly arrogant, it was deeply shaken by Fang Han's cunning. Even with Fang Han's strength depleted, it still felt a lingering fear towards him. Fang Han feigned humility and said, "It was nothing. The golden core explosion was a dangerous gamble, a direct lure into peril. If it hadn't succeeded, we would have been in grave trouble. Let's head straight into the barbarian god temple, Fang Han declared. I want to see what mysterious curses lie within. The recent golden core explosion must have alerted many people, and killing the disciples of the barbarian demonic sect has caused no small amount of trouble. Let's leave this place first to avoid being discovered by others. Once we reach the barbarian god temple, we'll rest and recuperate, then search for the 5 elements spiritual root. Xingyun Bao Bao, you'll also have a share this time. Once you obtain the 5 elements spiritual root, you'll surely be able to advance further and have a better chance at contending for the sect master position. After speaking, Fang Han and the others immediately departed, flying into the distance. They soon landed among the majestic and grand temples, disappearing from sight. A short while after Fang Han had left, hundreds of radiant lights suddenly converged from all directions, gathering in a cluster at the spot where the barbarian demonic sect disciples had just been killed. Among them were no lack of experts from the divine ability realm, the 5th layer heaven-human realm, and even the 7th layer golden core realm. All these individuals were clad in luxurious leather attire, clearly disciples of the barbarian demonic sect. A tall, elderly man spoke, Elder Wu, who dared to kill barbarian demonic sect disciples right before our sect gates. Was it someone from the Tai sect? Another elder, looking at the ravaged, pockmarked ground in the distance, couldn't help but shiver. And that enormous explosion just now, he added, it seemed to be the self-detonation of a golden core expert. The power of a golden core expert's self-detonation was simply world-shaking. Even being amidst the remnants of the explosion made one tremble with fear. Were our disciples killed in the golden core expert's explosion? No, another elder interjected. A golden core expert self-detonated first, and then our disciples went to investigate and were killed by someone. This matter is extremely mysterious. All disciples, heed my command. Search everywhere and report any suspicious signs immediately. Hundreds of streaks of radiant light immediately dispersed, neatly and orderly, like a well-drilled army. However, these streaks of light did not fly towards the desolate, abandoned temples deep within the jungle, as if peerless demons resided within them. Given this, it was naturally impossible for them to find Fang Han's tracks. At this moment, Fang Han had already entered the main hall of a barbarian god temple. The temple he was in covered an area of over 100,000 mu. The hall was spacious, though some areas had suffered severe erosion from wind and rain, beginning to crumble, decay, and weather away. What was strange, however, was that logically, these temples had been abandoned for countless tens of thousands of years. They should have long since been in utter disarray, inhabited by rats, spiders, bats, and other wild beasts building nests and overgrown with moss and plants. Especially in the barbarian jungle, which was hot, humid, and rainy, abandoned structures like these would probably be covered by vines and weeds in less than 10 years. Yet now, within the temple, not a single plant had taken root. Even on the steps beneath the eaves, not a trace of moss had grown. In every corner, there were no snakes, insects, rats, or ants scurrying about, nor were there any spider webs. It was evident that a mysterious power was indeed preventing the encroachment of animals and plants. Upon entering the hall, Fang Han was immediately awestruck by the temple's architectural style. Within the immensely vast main hall stood numerous divine statues. These statues were either wooden and solemn, gazing down upon all living beings, or with mouths agape, silently roaring towards the boundless void. Some, however, had compassionate expressions, holding prayer beads, with shaved heads, and clad in strange, bare-chest garments. The style of these divine statues was peculiar, unlike any sculpted by sects of either the immortal Tao or demonic Tao. They seemed like visitors from beyond the heavens. Fang Han looked at these divine statues, but did not use his divine sense to probe them, sensing many strange things within the ancient temple. It wouldn't be good to accidentally stir up trouble. Yen explained, the materials used for this temple were a type of spiritual stone from beyond the heavens, called golden inlaid stone, not found in the Xianwang Great World. Once built, it would remain indestructible for 100,000 years. Moreover, the fragrance it emitted could repel snakes, insects, rats, ants, spiders, and many other pests. Many experts had wanted to move these temples to their own sects, but none had succeeded. Once, a longevity secret realm expert used a mountain-moving technique but failed to move even a single temple, and later suffered misfortune and perished. Afterward, many people no longer harbored any ideas about these temples. In short, it's best not to touch anything within them, nor to damage them casually. Hearing this, Fang Han immediately spoke solemnly into the void below. I came to this temple to search for the 5 elements spiritual root and to enhance my cultivation. I absolutely have no intention of harming a single blade of grass or tree in this divine hall. In the future, if Fang Han cultivates to the longevity secret realm, he will definitely find a group of mortals to restore the incense offerings to this divine hall and worship all the divine spirits. Boon, just as Fang Han's words fell, the entire ground seemed to tremble, as if an earthquake had occurred deep within the earth. Fang Han was greatly startled. He immediately unleashed his earthen yellow gang qi, extending it downwards to sense what was happening deep within the earth, but he sensed nothing at all. What's going on? Fang Han wondered in his heart. Did my words provoke the temple's mysterious power? Yen replied, perhaps. Making rash vows easily invites heavenly lightning strikes. In any case, these divine halls contain mysterious powers, Fang Han, so you'd best not go back on your word in the future. Otherwise, you might invite misfortune. Fang Han felt awkward. He had only spoken casually out of panic, not expecting it to trigger a mysterious power. However, he soon felt relieved, realizing that once he cultivated to the longevity secret realm and became an ancient titan, finding some mortals to clean up and burn incense wouldn't be difficult. Fang Han immediately let out a laugh, saying, I feel that these temples no longer seem to resist me much. The search for the 5 elements spiritual root will surely be promising. As long as I find it, my invincible great demonic divine ability will all be cultivated to great perfection. Then I can step into the unity realm, condensing all my divine abilities into a natal divine talisman. My power will be completely concentrated, and a single strike will compare to the impact of an ordinary golden core expert. Upon thinking of this, Fang Han was immediately inspired. Why not just go all the way and finish what I started, he mused. I'll refine the Ghost Emperor's drunken ghost primordial spirit as well. This old ghost cultivated for 3,000 years. The divine abilities contained within that drunken ghost primordial spirit are unfathomable. If I refine it and cultivate to the divine ability 6th layer, Unity Realm, then my natal divine talisman will probably be even more powerful than Venerable Gu Meng's Heaven and Earth Dharma idol. Fang Han currently possessed over 30 types of divine abilities. If he refined the golden core of the Star Destroyer Dao, he would increase them to over 50 types. Since the drunken ghost primordial spirit was a Heaven and Earth Dharma idol, it was also composed of many divine abilities. With the Ghost Emperor's 3,000 to 4,000 years of cultivation, the divine abilities he cultivated would number at least 30 types. If he refined the drunken ghost primordial spirit, he would then possess over 80 types. So, could Fang Han's crazy idea truly work? Tune in next time for the explanation. Okay, that's all the content for this video. If you enjoyed it, please don't hesitate to like, share, and subscribe. After all, your support is my motivation to keep creating content. I'm Fang Han. See you in the next video.